The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
Reading from Holy Gospel according to John.
Glory to you, O Lord.
Jesus said, Amen, amen, I say to you, it was not Moses who gave the bread from heaven. My Father gives you the true bread from heaven. For the bread of God is that which comes down from heaven and gives life to the world. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
One of the greatest saintly patrons for priests is a man named the Curé of Ars, St. John Maria Vianney. And one of the reasons why his parish was converted, as well as thousands of others were converted, was because of his great love for God, his great love for the Eucharist, and his great love for the salvation of souls. Every day in the parish he would give what was called his catechetical hour at about 11 o'clock. And then he'd be spending most of the day confessing from 13 to 18 hours a day. It's a lot of time in the confessional. Try to imagine spending 18 hours in a little room with a suffocating heat during the summer, and like being in a deep freeze in the winter, and eating only 2 potatoes a day, and at night sleeping 3 hours, and battling with the devil. How on earth could anyone do that? I think if you did that for a week, you'd be ready. You'd be a permanent resident in Forest Lawn. Not a temporary guest, but a permanent visit. Permanent resident. The power came from Jesus Christ. And it came from the Eucharist. Often during his homilies, he would say, with tears in his eyes, and he'd be pointing to the Blessed Sacrament, saying, He is present there. He is truly present there, in his body, blood, soul, and divinity. The same Lord that he praised and worshipped is now present with us. What a privilege to be able to spend an hour with Jesus in the Blessed Sacrament. He's truly present. Now, if people knew that John Paul II were to come to visit, at the drop of a hat, you get 1 million people. People knew that Mother Teresa were to come to visit, 1 million people. People knew that St. Francis of Assisi were to come to visit us, maybe even more. If people knew that Our Lady of Guadalupe were to appear in Hawaiian Gardens this afternoon, you'd have half the Mexicans here and half the Mexicans from Mexico coming to visit, huh? But here we have someone who's much greater than JP2 and Mother Teresa and St. Francis and even Our Lady of Guadalupe. This is God. It's not a symbol. It's reality. This is truly God. So you're in the best of places in the world because you're in front of the Blessed Sacrament. So Jesus says this, "Come to me, all of you are weary, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, because I'm meek and humble of heart. For you'll find rest for your souls, because my yoke is easy and my burden is light." So for the next hour, you have this incredible privilege to be with the Lord. There's no one in the world that loves you more than Jesus Christ. Tomorrow's gospel is taken from Deuteronomy 6, in which Jesus is asked, what is the greatest commandment? It's called the Great Shema. Hear, O Israel, the Lord your God, the Lord is one. You shall love the Lord your God with all of your heart, all of your mind, all of your soul, and all of your strength, than to love your neighbor as yourself. Jesus wants to enter into a profound love affair with all of you. Maybe that sounds romantic, no? But Christ, he loves you. But he wants to love you. He wants you to love him in return. So in your holy hour, talk to the Lord. Tell him everything that's going on in your life. But don't forget to say, Lord, you know all things. You know that I love you. Amen.